Today I'm going to talk about how to have the right mindset as an entrepreneur to have way more success. Hey, it's Gary Coxe. Would love to have you subscribe if you already haven't. And one of the hardest things I think for people who are entrepreneurs or those who want to become an entrepreneur are the challenges that you have to go through. I'm sure you've heard of the TV show Naked and Afraid. Let's talk about some of the psychology that people go through on that show that you need 100% the exact same type of thinking to have a successful business. So Naked and Afraid, if you're not aware of it, typically it's a guy and a girl. They have no idea who each other, they don't know each other, and they literally strip naked and they say, look, you're going to be able to take one thing with you. It could be a pan to boil water. It could be a flint, a knife, whatever. And then they give you a map. And let's say you start here and you have to go all over to wherever you're going to go. And then boom, you have 21 days. You're going to be out there for 21 days. Now, when you're excited in the beginning, right? So just like most entrepreneurs in the beginning, or when you create a new product or an idea, you have what I refer to as irrational optimism. When you have irrational optimism, you're irrationally optimistic about everything that's going to happen that's going to be great. So when they start off naked and afraid, in the beginning, day one, they're smiling. And many times they're irrationally optimistic. Oh yeah, I can do this, I can do this. But what happens? Day one, day two, you start getting over here, and then maybe it starts raining. Oh, by the way, you have to kill and find your own food. So all of a sudden now you're over here and you're starving and you're losing weight. All these obstacles start happening. But here's what the focus is. You have to begin with the end in mind. You must begin with the end in mind. As an entrepreneur, you must focus on what your end game is, the end results, not, a final end results, but what's the objection? What are you trying to accomplish? Have that clear in mind. In this particular case on Naked and Afraid, it's 21 days. It's a clear objective. 21 days, I have to go from here to here, and it's going to suck. There's going to be times it's going to be really, really difficult. So there's four things I want you to think about that you must keep in mind, that because we become often irrationally optimistic, we don't take these four things into consideration. And typically it will always take you more time, more money, more energy, and more effort. Now, I'm not trying to be the party pooper or the Karen in your party, but this is the reality of things. When a person becomes irrationally optimistic, they forget it's going to take them typically a lot more time, money, energy, and effort. So when you're on this course or this roadmap to your success, right? You've got this roadmap going, things are just going to go crazy, the end in mind over here. If you go into this with the mindset that it's going to take you more time, then you have to plan for that. If you go in there and realize that it's going to take you more money, how many times do you see somebody, that's going to want to build a house or maybe a smaller project, and you go into building up a smaller project. I don't care if it's in your mind, if it's a $100 project. Typically, it's going to take even more money. Oh, I forgot about this, so there's another $2. There's another $5. There's 7% more right there. And it's going to take you a lot more energy and effort. The reason being is there are hurdles and obstacles throughout your journey that you are not going to be aware of. You're going to have no idea what they are, but they are going to happen. So on Naked and Afraid, somebody could get bit by a snake. Somebody could start, throwing up. They eat something that's bad, or they drink some water that wasn't, cleaned up enough or boiled enough, whatever. There's always going to be something that's going to happen, and that is why you're going to need more energy and more effort. Now, here's an illustration I'd like to help people realize, and it's an actual wristband that I have designed for my company. And right here it says, wherever I'm at, I'm not at my potential. wherever I'm at, I am not at my potential. So watch this. Recently, the Olympics was on the news like crazy, right? So let's use that as an example. Let's say that you are a marathon runner, right? So you've got this long track of running, and this is the finish line right here. Here's the finish line. What's a marathon? I think it's 22.6 miles. That's lots of running. Let's say that you are the marathon runner, and we're going to predict that you are going to collapse at the end of the race. So here we go. You're running. Here's the finish line. Typically, if you've spent hours running 26 miles, and we know we're going to collapse due to exhaustion, where do you think we're going to collapse? Do you think we're going to collapse before the finish line, or are we going to collapse after the finish line? We're going to collapse when? We're going to collapse after the finish line. Okay, so here we go. We're going to collapse right here after the finish line. Now watch this. What's this say? Wherever I'm at, I am not at my potential. This is where, if you know it's going to take you more energy and effort, you have it built up inside of you. It is there. This is a mindset. So let's do this. We're going to take this line. Oh boy. And we're going to move the finish line. You don't know about it, but we're going to move it on you. This time, where do you think you're going to collapse? Do you think you're going to collapse here before the finish line? Or do you think you're going to collapse after the finish line? You've gone 26 miles. Where do you think you're going to collapse? You're going to get enough energy. You're going to figure it out. And you're going to go just a little bit further. So always keep in mind, if you have the right mindset and that line gets stretched on you, because it's going to get stretched on you, with the right mindset, you'll keep going. So I want you to think about some of the projects that you're on now. How irrationally optimistic are you? And I have to be very careful of that myself. In fact, you'll find the more experience and the more wisdom that you have, you become less irrationally optimistic. So I know now when I start a project, if let's say I do seminars, right? Let's say I'm going to do a seminar and I haven't done a seminar in a long time, and in my mind I want to do 500 seats or 1,000 seats. I know that if I want to put that as a goal, I'm not going to get, we're going to get 500 seats, we're going to get 1,000 seats. I don't get my irrational optimism involved. What I do get involved is putting in the time, the energy, and the effort to make sure I work hard toward getting that 500 seats, because if I become irrationally optimistic, and remember, when you become irrationally optimistic, you typically will not reach the goal that you think you're going to reach, and when you do, or when you don't, I should say, what happens to your emotions? They start to go down and down and down. So there you have it. I want you to be thinking about your goals. I want you to work hard toward them. Excuse me. And remember those 4 things. It's going to always take you more time, energy, effort, and money. If you go into your business with that mindset, that's going to help you get to the end in mind. I'm out of here. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Love to see and have you subscribed if you already have it. I am out of here. Between now and the next time we get to chat, you know what to do. And if you don't, you do now. Don't let others run space in your head. Have an awesome day.